NBT SKY. So, before my Julio reading, I decided that we was going to look at some numbers on the attempt to assassinate Donald Trump, which leads us to this wonderful understanding that we all out of control out here, because we can't even get through an election without trying to take somebody's head off their shoulders, and that's unorganized. Not saying I'm not the most organized person in life, but I'm just saying it's a mess. It's a hot mess. Anyway, last time we ran, I had this discussion with my aunt, and I was like, they really gonna go hard on them. It's gonna get crazy, and so it is. And so the last Numerology Report talk about Biden and Trump. It's getting crazy. It's out of control. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's look at these numbers. Donald Trump. I'm doing this because that's how it's being reported. So I'm just using his name short. So Donald breaks down into 23 and 5, which brings you into Mercury. And then Trump breaks down into 25 and 7, which brings you into this Uranus-Neptune energy. And then the high and medium frequency stays in Jupiter. So I don't feel like doing a tarot card reading on a bone throw. So what we're going to do is just talk about the masters. So at the end of the day, when we in Mercury, we're talking about the magician. We all know that he has this ability to create, manipulate, move things around, whether it's money, conversations, speeches, communicate with other people, businesses, so on and so forth. So anyway, you get into Uranus, and it brings up the energy of the Fool. The Fool, Uranus and Neptune comes up in tarot as air and fire, but in other systems is air and water. So being that we're dealing with the majors, we're talking about air as the Fool, and we're talking about the Hangman as fire, which kind of matches what's going on, right? Seeing things from a different position, being taken off the planet or attempt to, and then you have all of these zeros, which solidifies the Fool energy in there. So this is to say, if we're just looking at his name, that this was supposed to be put together with a warning. So therefore, clearly, it's always warning signs around Trump because he's always turned up, right? So when we get into this Jupiter energy, we got this Wheel of Fortune, and that's his lifestyle, that's his mindset, wealth, and so on and so forth. So it matches him. So now the date of the attempt, we in Gemini, and Gemini's in the sun. And when you break down the date, you got 7/13/2024. Now everybody know that in certain systems and in certain aspects of thinking, the 13 is not the best number, but okay. Anyway, when we put this whole date together, you get 2044. So maybe we'll look into that later on in life. But we still come into 10 and 1, and you still have the confirmation of Uranus and Neptune. You get this 13 and 4. So you got this Saturn energy, right? This being able to create on Earth, this Earth energy. The month and the day you put it together, you got this 20 and the 2. It brings you in. Therefore, we knew, first off, if you want to look at this, the attack is on the ground, right? Things are not known, it's not clear. And then we in this 8 for the year by itself, which is that Mars warish energy. But the high and the medium, it still comes into the 10. So we're going to say that there's people that were aware that this was highly possible, and there were people that were sleeping behind the wheel on it. And then on top of that, when you throw this 2 in here, it just lets you know that there were some things that either they missed intentionally or not. So now, when we're dealing with the place, we're dealing with Butler County, Pennsylvania. So that brings you to Venus, the 20 and the 2 again. And then we have Pennsylvania, which is a 53 and 8. So that's that little warish energy that's matching with the year, right? But we in the county, a particular county, which is matching the month and the day together, right? So the county was probably alerted, and they missed the spot, clearly. At the end of the day, this is people, family people, regular people indulging in this. And it still brings the Fool number all the way out and still confirms the Fool in the Uranus and this Neptune energy right here. Now, for fun, let me count the majors. So we got the sun that comes up 2 times. So we know there's a balancing act necessary. If you want to look at it, you look at the 2 cups. It could be a partnership, or 2 individuals, or a group, or 2 groups of individuals that kind of pulled it together. But also there's, you know, several groups around him that has to protect him. And then you have this moon energy that comes in the 2. So therefore, that comes up 2 times. So we could say, again, is all emotions being stirred up around this whole election in general. Now, when we're looking at the majors in Butler County, Pennsylvania, you're dealing with the Empress, the Moon, and the Tower, right? Even in the year. So a lot of things are supposed to change in this year. There's, you know, destructive forces, but mandatory things that's going to change regardless of how we like it. And so this force of change happens in Pennsylvania, right? People in their emotions, families in their emotions, people feeling some type of way, period. And then we have this Empress energy. So I'm not really familiar with Pennsylvania and, you know, how wealthy the population or the majority is, but definitely some wealthy individuals felt some type of way. People who have power, more like a feminine energy. It doesn't have to be a feminine. It doesn't have to be a female, but it could definitely be, you know, somebody that's super wealthy, that's feminine, most likely, that may have known or had the heads up that this was going to take place. But this could also be a man. Let's not get it twisted. Now, if we're looking at the food generally, and this is not associated with the actual card, and we look at a minor, and we know the food is in the air, down here it comes up 1, 2, 3, like 4 times. It's 4 swords kind of energy. At the end of the day, when you're looking at this 8 and it's 22, the whole concept is everybody, we want everybody to see this take place. That's that energy, the 10 and 1. We want everybody to see this take place in front of the majority, regardless. That's also why the sun is in a high frequency anyway. And then when you're in Gemini, you're in that twin energy regardless. So it's all kind of adding itself up. Now, remember, he was the 45th president, which puts him in the 9, which throws him in that Pluto kind of energy, which is not really, I don't feel like that has a major effect, but I was just thinking about it. So they say he got hit in the ear. So I decided to look up, you know, the zodiacs according to the area. So when you're looking at the air, you're looking at Aries energy. You're looking at a fire energy, or somebody that's moving in this air, this fiery energy, kind of on the aggressive side, right? And so this speaks of the head, face, eyes, blood, brain, muscular system kind of thing. So we know that that ear shot, they was hitting for it, regardless. Whether people want to say this is staged, manipulated, or not, what it look like. All right. So when we dealing with this this date of 7/13/24, 24, you're talking about the 10 of Swords, right? And this is where it gets a little bit mixy when people say this is a manipulated event versus whether it's a real event. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we just building and talking about numbers, right? The 10 of Swords is about a complete stab in the back, a complete ending of a situation, flat out down. It's like, no, we want you down, Holmes, period. That's how we feeling about it. And we want everybody to see it, how aggressive we are. But this is really people that's moving around in their emotions. Now, from what they were saying, because I didn't really listen to the whole thing, is that everything was secure in that area except for one particular spot that was behind the situation, which is probably why there's 2 is coming down in a lower frequency. Somebody wasn't properly securing the area, or chose not to properly secure the area, probably a little bit on purpose or manipulated. When you got this Empress energy in there, somebody got a lot of money, make it happen, regardless of how we want to look at it, right? Anywho, so we have the Mars comes up about 2 times. So this is all about trying to bring mostly balance. The moon in totality, it comes up 3 times. So you would look at like the 3 of Cups. Okay, this could be 3 different individuals, 3 different groups working together, or felt like they was gonna have a celebratory event off of it. But when Venus comes up, It comes up one time, so that makes me want to focus on the One of Cups. Somebody that's definitely in their emotions, but mostly letting me know that I need to pay attention to the Empress energy, whether it's a masculine moving in the Empress energy or a feminine moving in the Empress energy. Anyway, was this a good day for this to take place? Probably not. But most likely, when you think about it, even if the numbers would have shifted, or this rally would have taken place on a different day, it may have worked out slightly different, but they would have tried it anyway. But anyway, this is me, NBT Sky. I will talk to you all later. Deuces.